I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and we are in day 12 of the second qualifying round for the 2025 Carcassonne Champions League. And today, two players, one from the Netherlands, one from Finland, will be trying to knock each other out of the second qualification tournament, or the second of the second qualification tournaments. I know there's so many of those, so let's have a look at the bracket real quick to make sense of that. The screen names are MeepleOverPeople, of course demonstrating the right priorities, and larpaattori of Finland. So Q22 is the play. Remind you that this is a double eliminated format, and I believe both players have already lost once. So MeepleOverPeople lost once against Carcassonne of Malaysia, and that was considered a bit of an upset because rating-wise, MeepleOverPeople was one of the seeded players, meaning that they had to actually play one fewer games. And larpaattori was one of the unseeded players, and they lost a narrow duel against their neighbor, Hognai of Norway. And now they'll be facing each other in the first out of many rounds of the lower qualification bracket. They still each have one chance. If they do manage to win this match and the next match and the next match and the next match, then they indeed will manage to qualify for the main stage of the tournament. So quite an uphill battle, but completely doable for some of them. So MeepleOverPeople has already appeared on stream a couple of times, as they have been playing in the World Team Carcassonne Online Championships as part of Team Netherlands a couple of years, whereas larpaattori is a newer player who, if you have a look, actually they joined Wargame Arena only in September 2024, so just a couple of months ago. They already made it past the 500 rating, so they are already an expert, got almost 2,000 games in, so certainly a lot of dedication on the part of that player, and I'll be very curious to see how they do. And we're refreshing the page, so they already just started the game, and we can see that the Dutch player still has more experience and more rating as a result. But whoever wins this one should really be close. So both players have already made a couple of moves. Now the Dutch player is getting a positional advantage here as of this move. It's really an annoying move to make. An annoying move for the player with the red meeples, which is the Finnish player, because there are now only two tiles that fit into this square, so there's really a high chance of this meeple not surviving. But now larpaattori can actually, if he wants, he can go over here and make it so that there will still be two tiles that fit into this square. Because black, that's the Dutch player, with that move is trying to not only continue his city at the top, but of course threaten to draw a road tile, place it over here, and then make it sure that 0 tiles fit into that square. So larpaattori drew a nice defense and also a chance to start a new city, so that's very nice. And there was actually an alternative to this. You see, with this 2-point road on his previous move, larpaattori was not only scoring points, but actually he's preparing a dirty tactic, getting a curve and bending it into this city cap for black, making it harder for black to finish his road at the bottom. So it looks like it might be quite a tight position with lots of blocks. So just a simple scoring move for the Dutchman, starting a 4-point road, cleaning up that spot. Larpaattori with a city tile, plenty of interesting things to do. Could just continue one of his cities, or could meeple this new city cap at the same, not allowing for easy points for MeepleOverPeople, and also controlling this road. Instead just goes over here. Not the strongest move, I think. It really doesn't do that much. I mean, sure, it starts bothering that road a little bit, but it is just so unlikely that such a move would amount to much. There was another alternative, just adding this tile over here and breaking Black City a little bit more. But maybe red did not want to add points to his opponents, which is understandable. Maybe red's plan is to finish the city, go up top, and then start blocking that square. If you ask me, this move over here was probably best, just because it would really disrupt Black City by a lot, and definitely worth the 1 point sacrifice, because with any Dorito tile, Black can set himself up for an easy 10-point city. Larpaattori with a big tile, so certainly should not be going here or here or here. So the question is whether you just go here and dump it, or you go here and add it to your opponent. But and he does add it to his opponents, which kind of surprised me why he didn't do it on his previous move, because now it sort of makes it harder to complete the city, but actually not harder than... So basically this tile would have done the same, but a little bit better, and it wouldn't be giving up the shield. But because this quadruple style is so inflexible, really red didn't have a lot of options. Black is now trying to break red's city a little bit, in the same time making their own road slightly more vulnerable. larpaattori should probably finish one of his cities. It's a question whether you finish that one or this one, although it's not a real question. No, the other one is better. There are a few reasons for this. So the main reason is that if we finish that city, then we are already making this square more vulnerable, because our plan eventually as red is to get a curve and now bend it inwards here so that black cannot continue his road easily. Whereas this city at the top was actually quite safe, because black cannot go here. Well, obviously black can go here, but black shouldn't, because that would expose a blocking platform against his own city. So reds could actually afford to keep the city more open. And another issue with that move is that it created a monastery spot, which the Dutchman is very happy to take advantage of. So you see, this is kind of shows... this is sort of a lot what you see at this like 500-ish level, where players make logical moves and moves which make complete sense. But once you need a tile in a few places, choosing which one is the priority it's something that really requires a lot of experience, a lot of depth of understanding of the position. And even though I wouldn't say that, you know, finishing the other city was any particular mistake, there will be consequences for that. Consequences in the form of a couple of points, consequences in the form of a slightly inferior position, which might add up throughout this game. The format, I will remind you again, is a best of 3, so we're going to see at least 2 Carcassonne games tonight, but probably 3, given that I expect this to be a tight match. So more monasteries for black, but a nice 8-point city and a scoring lead for red. Red, unfortunately, is losing this meeple over here, so all the blocking sequence worked nicely for black, but black will be losing a meeple as well, because there's nothing that fits in this square. So this road meeple is trapped. 4 points for black in the form of the city, indirect continuation of this road, and also black just drew one of the 2 tiles that fit into that square, so now only 1 tile remaining for red to continue his road and get out his meeple alive. But a fantastic tile now for the Dutchman. So it does help red with the field connection, because we can see this Dutch farmer being dropped quite early. And the Finnish agricultural professional is now joining it. But of course, monastery points is more than enough of a consolation prize for this kind of stuff. Hi Nalaheim, hi Ian, hi Glavier. Now just catching up on the chat as it got a little bit delay. Oh, thank you for correcting me that larpaattori was actually a seeded player, which meaning that their rating was higher than average in that bracket, but they got a bit of unlucky in the draw. They needed to play a extra match anyway. Ooh, and what do I see? We see that the Finnish player knows about the Ukrainian technique. So of course starting the city over here is really annoying, because this one city meeple controls 2 of Black's monasteries, and so Black will need to choose either between losing 2 meeples when Red will be losing just one meeple by either blocking the square or just not placing anything over here, or by maybe sacrificing a city cap and helping Red to build his city just for the sake of getting these monastery meeple out. But also in that particular instance, why I love this move so much is because there is some scenario where Red can have his cake and eat it too, where Red actually gets to be patient, complete his city, but leave these monasteries stranded. And the reason for that is because 3 out of the monasteries are all out, and Red has also a city over here. So what's going to happen at some point is that Red's going to finish this city with any sort of city cap, and then it will create a, some sort of blocking platform against this square. And what could be done is that maybe Red can restrict this square, and then normally build up his own city over here, and leave the Black 2 monastery meeples stranded because nothing can fit into this square anymore. So normally these here configurations with 2 field sides on them are quite safe, but because so many of the field plus field tiles, such as the 3 regular monasteries and such as 3 out of the 5 vanilla city caps have gone out, so some blocking opportunities are in the cards. And that's why the Dutchman recognizes that and tries to create threats on the other side of the board to compensate for that. So he has a meeple minority losing on the scoreboard, but he has a nice 10-point city over here and some slight chances of getting it finished as well. Now they are indeed filling this square on the left, hoping to maybe draw something, and immediately Black Red gets a tile to complete their city, not to complete, but to continue their city, and to drop yet another farmer to now try and take away this field from this hardworking Dutch farmer. Black indeed does finish his monasteries with these 2 tiles over here, but he's forced to continue Red's city as a result, so Red will be getting some nice compensation. This city is now already worth 6 points, and some chances of getting a meeple back. This move by Red I really don't like. It only gets it basically just only gets 1 point, because it unifies a 2-point road of Red with a 3-point road of Black. Whereas connecting this farmer over here to the field is more important. I mean, it gives you immediate 12 points, turns this 0-point farmer into a 12-point farmer, and eliminates outside chances of this square getting blocked, because this square is actually not as safe as one might think. And now, for example, Red can't really go over here. Red needs to go here and start blocking this square now. That's more of a priority, and this will give more time for Black to maybe start getting some blocking constructions and try to take advantage of this meeple getting here stuck for some time. Yeah, Black is actually dealing with that really, really well, so got out of these monasteries, now meepling a 6-point farm, which has the chances to get connected to the main farm. Even if it doesn't at this stage of the game, 6 points is certainly a reasonable investment, and bringing his city closer and closer to completion. So for example, if Red doesn't do anything, Black could draw like a giraffe's neck tile, prolong this city, and shield it from all possible invasions, and then set up like a triangle plus triangle sequence to finish it for a boatload of points. After the monasteries have been completed, MeepleOverPeople has more stuff on the scoreboard. Red connects the farmer, but black drops yet another farmer at the top. So now maybe connecting here or here. So red has a chance to drop another farmer here. Try to connect through one of the 4 remaining straight lines. Still more than enough straight lines to justify such a move. You don't want to drop a farmer this way because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, only 1 curve is remaining and 1 road monastery, so that would give fewer tiles for red to connect. Instead, red tries to slightly obstruct the city on the left, at the same time making it slightly harder for black to bring the second meeple. The reason I find such approach kind of risky is because there's a limited number of profitable field connection platforms and kind of feels like we need to go here early. But on the other hand, a red situation is not that easy because red knows that he might need, yeah, okay, there we go. So red is being patient because he realizes that red might need a city cap in order to attack this big city. And the point of this move was a bit of a waiting move. It was saying that, you know, if whatever tile you put here, it's gonna give me a connection platform for a chance to equalize the city and capitalize on all of this hard work that black has been investing in this. But also this move is actually really interesting because it makes it much harder to bring this farmer into the field, given that there is only 1 curve remaining. So the way this geometry works is in order to bring both farmers into the field, black will need either a curve here or a curve here. There is no other way. Or, you know, a road monastery here or a road monastery here. So this is the only sequence that is possible, because let's say if he gets a straight line here, then this square will be restricted. Or if you get something like a regular monastery here or a vanilla city cap here, which now of course is no longer possible because the 5th vanilla city cap has been drawn. But before that move, if it gets like a vanilla city cap, then suddenly this square is restricted and a curve is needed. So yeah, that's really a nice multi-purpose move here by larpaattori. The only downside of this idea is that there's a slight risk of losing out big because there's still 1 splitter tile remaining, and if black draws it before red gets a Dorito tile, then of course black would be able to separate these 2 meeples, so that's why red now really should be happy for drawing this Dorito tile early and managing to equalize that city. So unfortunate for black that he has lost all these city points as the cities have been neutralized, but as a result black has some consolation. He has this 9-point farmer, so he doesn't really need to connect this farmer into the field. Black has dropped another farmer, so the city actually has served its purpose. It created a threat which larpaattori needed to spend time and tiles to neutralize. And during that time, all the field entrance squares were wide open, and the Dutchman is taking advantage of that. Currently an equality on the field, but 4 extra points on the scoreboard for black, these 9 extra farm points from black, and 1 extra farmer preparing to get in. That's why red drops another farmer himself, also adding 1 point to his city, and actually keeping chances of completing the city very much alive. So let's see. Yeah, and black really can't do that much about it. There are some blocking moves in theory, but none of them are a complete block. So for example, black could go over here maybe with this tile, adding 1 point to red and dropping a farmer, but that would still leave 1 tile in the deck that fits into that square to complete the city, namely the 1 remaining road Dorito. So I guess as black, maybe we go here, drop a farmer like this, and then create another attacking or blocking platform against this square. So something like this could be a possible move. Regardless of which direction you put this tile, it's a bit difficult to block this invasion, just because it's a peculiar tile run out. We have barely any curves remaining. In fact, we have only 1 curve remaining, but we have still 4 crossroads remaining. And the reason why this is unusual is because in the deck there are 8 crossroads but 9 curves. So statistically, you would expect to run out of crossroads slightly sooner than you would run out of curves. So that's why this tile runout is unusual. He does think about the orientation of the tile, decides to face the city cap on the outside, just so that in the unlikely event that black is not successful, black can score some extra farming points from this completed city. Now we have complete equality on the scoreboard. MeepleOverPeople gets a tile which he uses to sort of kind of start a blocking attack against the square. And larpaattori gets the last curve. Now he's going to be thinking hard. Do you go over here to complete the field connection, or do you maybe find some sort of blocking move? Maybe going over here or going over here. The problem with all these moves, whilst they would reduce the probabilities of black connecting into the field, they wouldn't reduce it to 0. So if even with the best possible move with the curve, you can turn it like this, there's still the road monastery remaining. So probably the best course of action for red would be to simply connect first, and then later try and win the game either by blocking one of the connection squares later, or by maybe sneaking a couple of city tiles and a win through completing these big cities. And this is exactly what the Finnish player decides. The Dutchman manages to connect on the outside, a crossroads for larpaattori. Will he score some 2 points somewhere? Should probably think not only to score 2 points, but shape the board in a favorable way. Probably a move that I like is maybe going here, like this, which slightly obstructs the square, so it makes harder for black to block this city. And also it sets up some nice fields connection opportunities in the future, which are harder to block through here or through here. And given that black currently has not necessarily the majority, but black has the greater chances of ending up winning the field, it is red who will likely need the extra field connection platforms. So probably this is my preferable way to take the 2 points. As for some blocking opportunities, it's a bit too early for that, and the game is close enough for the 2 points to matter in the end, so we should probably take the quick points here. It's just the exact way. So he chooses to place the 2 points up top, which actually I don't like. And the reason why I don't like it is because it obstructs this square, but it is not in our interest to obstruct this square, because there are many runouts where we might use this square to block this square. So this now, of course, will not be possible as black draws a field connection tile immediately, but, you know, who knows what would have been possible. This also shows, some additional... this will create some additional issues as well. It will make it slightly harder to connect to the farm from this side. Luckily for red, there's still this opportunity. And now red again needs to think really hard what to do with this tile. Possible move is just going over here, adding a city point, and then just making a run for this city, hoping to get a Dorito tile before black gets a straight road to block this square here completely. But then it feels like we need to threaten the completion of the city at some point, so we might as well do it now, regardless of the low probability that it represents. Also, I noticed that actually red doesn't even need to complete this city necessarily, because the red has another threat. Red has a really nice threat of getting the last remaining starting tile and dropping a farmer here, and that farmer would be scoring 9 points because it would be scoring for these 3 completed cities. And of course the completed road would bring 7 points to red scoreboard, whereas currently this road is 3 points. So there is one tile in the deck that gives red, so it is like 4 plus 13 points with just one move. So that's certainly nice. I think red is being a bit impatient here. Yeah, when it comes to a field like this and you have one meeple, you really want to wait with that farmer. It's a bit too desperate, a bit too soon if you ask me. Of course, it's nice to connect to this field. It's worth 15 points. There isn't really anything that scores that well, but this also leaves a city up for grabs, and because red does not have a meeple, black is the only one who can benefit. There's still one more city cap that fits into this square, namely the diagonal splitter. Black is now trying to add even one more meeple on the field in case he draws the monastery. Red is now able to connect to the field, but red was forced to pass up on 4 road points, which is a too heavy a price if you ask me. Also, not great news for red that black managed to draw the starting tile. So this road meeple will not be getting out. And red is currently still ahead, I think, slightly. Well, actually not. Well, because, okay, so red equalized the field. Black has 2 points fewer on the scoreboard. Red has 3 and 3, that's 6, and black has 5 for this road, so that's 1 extra, so that's 3 for red. 9-point field for black, so that's -9, so that's -6 for red, but red has a 7-point city, so technically now red is ahead 1 point, but black still has loads of threats. Black can draw a monastery to get 1 more farmer in, or black can draw a starting tile to get 8 points for the city. Or even if black scores something very, very small, like 2 points for a road, this should also be enough. Black now blocks red city. Let's just double check if it's a complete block, and it is, yes. There isn't anything that fits into that square anymore, to the chagrin of larpaattori and all our Finnish fans. So the best that red can do scoring-wise is maintain parity on the field, which he probably will do because he did drew the last monastery that black needed to connect this farmer. So at least red won't be losing big. But now red will also need to score some city points and also deny points to MeepleOverPeople, which will not work as the Dutchman takes a 5-point road. Yeah, so that's why I was saying that this farmer was too desperate too soon, just because there's still scoring tiles in the deck, and you need to take advantage of them so that you maintain parity on the scoreboard. Because it's not enough that you equalize the field. Wait, did he even equalize the field? Yeah, he did. Yeah, so each farmer has 4 meeples. 4 red meeples for black. The 5th meeple is not joining, but black doesn't even need it. Red can only add a couple of city points through here on here, but it will not be enough. Nalaheim is saying, I like the restrictive curve from red. Yeah, so this move was actually, so I explained it a little bit earlier, but it was actually even deeper. Because of course there was a way to turn the curve the other way as well. So first of all, we see that this move resulted in a nice field block as nothing was drawn over here. So red did manage to successfully cut off this black farmer, but this move also restricted this city quite by a lot and made it sure that even if red draws something like an extender tile, in all circumstances red would have another chance to invade it via this new platform. So yeah, that was probably really one of the best moves that red was able to find in the entire game. As we can see, as red did manage to squeeze out a couple of city points, sadly will not be enough because the quick 5-point road and instant meeple back is all that black needed. So yeah, congratulations to the Dutchman and all our Dutch fans. We will see what the score difference is in just a second. Should be just under 5 points, I believe, or around that. Yeah, so exactly 5 points indeed. Which means that MeepleOverPeople was basically winning with any quick point tile, and there was just too many of those. And so what Red needed to do strategically in order to win this game, so either to threaten the completion of the city, which by the way I believe would have worked given that he drew this stuff, just to create more threats and more chances to win. But even if it doesn't work, then at least Red would keep a meeple to keep scoring for small 3-point, 4-point roads or whatever. Yeah, so Red did get 2 quick point tiles, and then closer to the end of the game, then we can attack the field and equalize, only after we make sure that attacking the field actually wins us the game. But it's something that requires lots of patience. And it's really unpleasant to just keep such a lucrative feature as a 15-point field, in the possession of your opponent for so long, but it looked like it was the only route for Red. Righty, but still, solid game, very close until the end. Quite entertaining, at least for me, and now the rematch has started. Larpaattori has been temporarily knocked under the psychological barrier of 500. Hopefully that does not affect them too much. And it looks like they are the starting players, so they have the slightly better odds of winning this game. They started with a monastery. Black took 4 points for this city. Red took 4 points for this city. Actually, I like this 2-point road of Black, pointing the city cap down. Larpaattori with some interesting options. Yeah, he's gonna drop a farmer, restricting this road. MeepleOverPeople should actually take this city cap still. It looks unpleasant, but because it will be facing into Red's monastery, the consequences of getting blocked, as risky as it is, are less than normal. So in case the square gets blocked, Black will be losing a meeple, but so will Red, so it's not such a big deal. Red, of course, will be able to build around this monastery, whereas this meeple will be trapped with just 3 points, so a losing mini battle, but still, not that big of a deal. And the upside of completing the city and also denying Red the use of the city cap is really nice and is fully justifying this move. So nice to see the Dutchman not being afraid of reasonably risky moves. One slight, I would say, a bit of a passive move from Red. Starting a road is of course nice, but it was actually better to start a road over here. I think with the straight line pointing like this, just putting more pressure on Black's road. And yeah, of course, this would not have necessarily helped, but I still prefer the other move a little bit more. The Dutchman will now continue his road, start a new city. Oh, probably over here. That looks reasonable. There's a downside that this road could be looped in all the way here, and this could be blocked, and Black would lose 2 meeples, but there are lots of upside to this move as well. Like, restricting this farmer with just 6 points is very nice. There's one particular devastating tile that Black could draw in this moment. If he draws a horse tile, which is the triple city with a road, he can score 2 points and leave this farmer stranded with 6 points. And this farmer will grow to 9 points only in the event that Black successfully completes his city, which he does instantly. And we're going to see a farmer over here, of course, to equalize this 9-point farm. And that's a great sequence of events for the Dutchman. Also, this road is now looking extremely intelligent. Larpaattori with a city cow tile. Probably going here would be the most annoying way to deal with the new city of MeepleOverPeople. Even without a meeple is a good move. Yeah, exactly. Very nice find here from the Finn. Oh, let me actually update the score, which I have been not remembering to do for a while. But yeah, the Dutchman is in fact ahead here. by a game. If he wins this one, the match is over. If he loses this one, the match continues. So black continuing his city after all. Not sure if that's the most patient move. Maybe the move that I would have preferred is going over here for 2 points. Yeah, because the thing is, like, if red goes here with a crossroads and then blocks this square, we might want to keep this square empty for a longer time as black, just in case we need to rely on the splitter tile to separate our city from this blocked part. And also, it would be nice to take out this field connection platform, because either player can place a tile over here, a meeple over here, and then connect through here or through here and overrun this 9-point field. And in fact, it seems that the Dutchman is considering this at the moment. Probably just think about the orientation. Maybe going here is nice, like this, so that you can get a crossroad tile, connect to the field, get 2 extra points. With 4 meeples in hand and not many good places to spend them, a farmer seems reasonable here. Would be a nice way to respond to red's claim on what is now a big shared road. Some other possible moves include maybe obstructing the city, but I don't really like that move because that would add an point to red's monastery without any guarantees of success of this blocking attack. So probably as black, we just need to accept the reality of red's high probability of finishing this city, and this should be okay for us because we're 8 points ahead on the scoreboard. Yeah, so it does indeed go for the farming move, and for the one that allows more flexible connections. Here we can have a crossroads with extra value, and in the unlikely event the square gets blocked, I'm saying unlikely because there's still 7 crossroads remaining, we'll still have the opportunity to connect here with a simple curve. Moreover, when we do that, this would create 1 more green square to potentially develop our field, with not many chances for red to reinvade this field. Red, in the meantime, just continues his city, but it will immediately backfire as black will do the only reasonable thing and connect to that city. So this is a move that you shouldn't really be spending any time on. Well, actually, you see, I can see what he's thinking, because this will give downsides. It will cover up this road nicely, and it gives red a chance to go here and drop a farmer to equalize the field, which is probably something that red might do. But maybe red wants to go here first to build up his field. Ah, no, he goes at the top. That's actually also quite nice. He wants to take care of this square as early as possible. He's now threatening to get a straight line or any type of road and block the square completely. So should black defend? I think black should. I think the move as black is that we switch up the strategy a little bit and then we just try to go really hard on the scoreboard. So we go here and we meeple that monastery, and we get a Dorito here, and we get a city cap here, and there's still 4 of those. We get a city cap here, and there's still boatload of those. And actually, after we place the monastery over here, because it's not easy for red to draw a city plus road tile and re-attack on this side, the chances of us completing that city are actually really good. And red recognizes this. Black recognizes this, rather. Red finishes his road, decides that the meeple supply is quite important. Black with a curve. What does black do? That's a great question. Maybe building up the monastery is nice, also making it slightly safer. An alternative is doing something, maybe like going here, cutting red's part of the road a little bit short. The downside, of course, is that would create a permanent opportunity for red to reinvade this farm. Or as black, we could really play small ball and go here. I'll show you where in a second, like go here. Yes, to prevent basically exactly what red just did, which is dropping this farmer with an easy reconnection to 9-point farm. So 9-point farm is not a really big loss, but this move is a definite strategic mistake. It was not really important to equalize this road because the point difference between the two roads is almost negligible. But what this move did, it just made this square next to Black City way, way, way safer. Oh no, way, way less safe. And the point of this monastery move, it's not a good move by itself. It's a good move because it starts a moving sequence. So when you play Carcassonne, it's not just about finding the best move. It's finding the best move because it's part of a certain plan, and then you gotta follow up with that plan. As the Dutchman is taking more scoreboard points. Larpaattori can now punish Black and now start blocking his city, something that was not possible early on, or he can just go here and build up his monastery. Going here would probably not be such a good idea because this farmer will connect to the field and we can really, really delay this connection for a long time. This square is not that likely to be blocked, and even if it does get blocked, there's still 3 tiles that fit over here too. Black with a monastery tile. Probably a good idea to score some quick points. Maybe here is best. Yeah, exactly. To start restricting that square and actually to force red draw one of the 3 remaining curves. Larpaattori with a monastery, and he goes for the massive, massive scoreboard points. Gonna try and complete those monasteries as one of the 3 curves is drawn by the Dutchman, who immediately converts it into 3 road points. Larpaattori with the starting tile, and the last starting tile, probably deciding between a couple of moves, either just continuing his monastery with or without a meeple on the city, maybe going over here, starting a new city, making it harder for Black to maybe find some other nefarious plan of getting a city cap and connecting here through a triple city, overrunning the city. Given Black's scoreboard lead, I don't think making such a risky move is in the interest of Black, but you know, better safe than sorry. A third option is maybe going here, starting to obstruct the square, and probably if we do that, we even leave the city cap alone. We don't even have to meeple it. Because let's say if Black gets a city cap, takes the 4 points, it immediately creates a blocking platform. We can go over here, block the square permanently. So red goes the safest route, start a new city at the bottom, also prevents that city connection opportunity that I was talking about. It has a price, the price being his temporary meeple minority, and oh boy, who could he get into trouble for that. So Black is now 1 tile away from blocking 2 of red's meeples, because again, no starting tiles fit here. Yeah, so red and the block will be successful, as Black should now go over here. It's absolutely worth spending 2 city caps on blocking 2 meeples, but red is now trying a counter attack. He's now trying to draw 2 Doritos, and that would help him score against these cities. And Larpaattori realized that he has been blocked. So he could still go here just for the sake of scoring 2 monastery points, but even though the square will look protected, there's nothing that fits there anymore. Yeah, so this now kind of begs the question, maybe it was just better to be safe than sorry and place this tile over here. I mean, this move does make some sense, and it could work out if red gets the 2 Doritos, but here's the thing. If red gets the 2 Doritos, red does not get an advantage. Red just equalizes the game, and this won't be possible as black will be methodical. Black will not go over here. Black will not go over here. Black will just finish the shared city just to prevent red from drawing this Dorito and Dorito sequence. Because black should realize that he's doing really well long term. So as black, we don't actually need to fill the square right now. There's still 3 vanilla tiles to do that later for an 88-something% chance. That's more than enough. But black is playing a little bit with fire here. He wants to fill the square immediately, and he's about to get burned as 1 Dorito is drawn by larpaattori, which should make the Finn and all his fans absolutely elated here, as this Dorito is not just a Dorito. It represents hope. Hope in this game, hope in this tournament. The only question is, do we place it like this, or do we place it the other way? So this is the placement that larpaattori chose. Black just continuing his city. So basically, I think the strategy of black is being completely okay with losing this city. It's just simply trying to get some compensation. Black now getting 3 points and creating a re-invasion platform over here. So larpaattori needs to draw a Dorito right now, but he does not. And he does not even get a defense tile, so that's a really unfortunate draw for the Finn. But he can still do something. What about? Okay, maybe that, but maybe there's something better, actually. Maybe just going over here was also a possibility. Starting to block that square as well. Oh, and look at black as black tries to block the square, and red gets a Dorito, but it's not enough to connect immediately. But still, there is still hope, because there's still 2 road Doritos remaining. Yay, saying MeepleOverPeople in the chat, and he did invest, a crossroad, which is a valuable tile, just to make larpaattori wait longer for his Dorito connection. And also what's going to happen is that the Finn will probably just score 1 point somewhere, maybe for the monastery, maybe go here and restrict the square a little bit, maybe go here, create some vulnerabilities next to Black City, some move with marginal value. And then, of course, red will stay without meeples for a little bit longer, and then when he does draw the Dorito tile with a road it fits here, it could be without a shield, so it will end up scoring less for that city. So certainly this investment of a crossroad looks like it's about to pay off. So just a discarded Dorito. I'm not sure what the purpose of that move is. I think you need to do something else. Maybe just like 1 monastery point. Just don't discard a Dorito completely. Okay, black in the meantime is building his own city. Black is also trying to block larpaattori. Larpaattori gets a defense tile, which should be super happy to build. We put this over here, and we wait for one of the 2 Doritos. So now 75% chance to finish this city. MeepleOverPeople gets a big tile, not really a good use for it. Yeah, there's just literally nothing productive that he can do. Maybe going over here, setting up a ruin that he could use in the future. This is not such a strong move, because ideally you want to be finishing this square with a Dorito, so now he needs city caps in 2 places, but it will end up working out, as he will successfully cover up his city in 1 place, and now threaten a reinvasion, but larpaattori with a Dorito will now also meeple the 4-point road as well. And at least temporarily, the Finn is now on the scoreboard, 7 points, but MeepleOverPeople gets his compensation and finishes the other city. Hi, 71 Knives. It looks like your match has finished. Since you're in the chat, do let us know how it went. Yeah, so at the same time, there was another match, which we were not able to witness because we're looking at this. Okay, but now the Dutchman is only up 11. Larpaattori has the tempo. And it's starting to look like a good opportunity to drop a good old farmer, maybe. In this here field, it's worth like 6 points already. Yeah, instead he just goes here and tries to slightly attack Black City, but I think that we need something more radical, you know? Yeah, and Black will drop a farmer here. Something that the Dutchman should have done himself. I think the Finn should have done himself. I think larpaattori here really underestimating the potential of what will now become the main field of the game. It is 6 points now. It will grow later for sure. Red tries to start a new city at the bottom. Black gets the splitter tile. I'll probably go here. Might do so with another farmer even. Let's see what he does. As Black, invading the city would be a mistake. It would be a bit too scared and certainly not the best use of a splitter tile. With 11 extra on the scoreboard, Black can afford Red finishing an 8-point city. Alright, congratulations 71 Knives for winning 2-0 against the Greek player with screen name Ashetos and keeping your tournament chances still alive. We'll hope to cover some of your new games already. So the Dutchman does get his extra point for the city, but he chooses to meeple the city as opposed to the field, which I think is a mistake. Because at this stage of the game, it's perfectly okay to leave the city cap open because you know that your opponent, Red, has a city open in a sensitive spot. So if Red gets the city, he will now go to finish it. So Red would not be taking advantage of this empty city cap. A farmer here, on the other hand, would set up a nice 6-point field and with an extra straight line or curve, a 9-point field over here. So certainly sounds like something useful. larpaattori is now maybe thinking of being a hero, of doing something other than finishing his city. Maybe he's thinking about dropping a farmer there, which could be a thing. He decides against it, I think. He's still thinking about it. I don't think it's yet time. But it wouldn't be a mistake. You know, there's some chances of connecting here to the main field, of connecting here to a secondary field worth 6 points. Yeah, so that could work. The question is just why didn't we meeple and field earlier? Even this move over here by Red could have come with a farmer. Yeah, because also the reason why this farmer is actually quite powerful, so Red does decide to save his farmers for later, which makes sense. The reason why this move is quite powerful is because there's another city cap in the field, and there's still one dagger tile that fits here. So there's an opportunity for Black to get some easy 7 points. Black still with 7 points extra on the scoreboard. Even meeple count. Black continues his monastery, tries to get his monastery meeple back, but Red now gets the dagger tile, so this square is no longer fillable. This threat has been neutralized, and Red starts a 6-point field by himself. Black will probably now either clean off the city cap or continue or finish his city over there, which also shows why it would have been better to drop a farmer as opposed to meeple 1-point city cap. So the Finn is gonna make it close. Hi, Nico. Oh, how interesting. So, you see, but here's the thing. This is something. This is inefficiency. So now Black recognizes that this farmer it could be important. And so now Black uses city cap to drop a farmer. Had he dropped a farmer here before, he would have already been finishing the city and getting an extra meeple for himself. Red, in the meantime, can ignore all that and just get his 7 points over here. 4 for the city, 3 for the field. There's not going to be a better move than that. There's no point in cleaning off this city cap if you have a city cap by yourself in the field. If we get one more city cap, then we can think about cleaning off city caps in our opponent's field a little bit later. So it looks like larpaattori will be up 1 point on the scoreboard after this move. By the way, just out of curiosity, for a question to either Nallerheim or any other Finns we have in the chat, how do you call a city cap literally in Finnish, or in how would it translate? So is the word would the word hattu or something like this make sense there? Whoa! What creativity here by larpaattori. Instead of taking 7 points in his own field, he's trying to clean up the city cap in his opponent's field and sets up for a city move, sets up for a Dorito tile to finish the city over here. Let's see if that's gonna work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's still 3 Doritos remaining, which means that he has an excellent chance of getting that done. And after he does that, he's gonna finish the city and get a Dorito tile, basically, and use the field part of the Dorito as a chance to drop a farmer and then connect back to this 9-point field. That's really, really interesting. So I don't think I'd do that still. I think that the immediate 7 points, like sometimes the simple way is just better. The reason in that particular position is because we still have good uses for Dorito tiles. We can get a Dorito tile to go over here and block Black's Monastery, or we can get a Dorito tile to go into this square and start blocking Black City over here. But in the meantime, we get a crossroads, so it's a nice way to score 4 points. And certainly, regardless whether this plan works out, Red is getting massive, massive creativity points for that, for sure. And at the time of the move, there were even 4 Doritos, so there's like almost half the deck that's good for Red there. Red does get the 4 road points and is ahead on the scoreboard. So now, when you say that you call city caps, like, do you literally speak Finnish and then you just say the English word city cap, as in minä pannan city cap täällä, something like this? Or would you actually say, like, I don't know, but like, if you literally translate city cap word by word, you get something like really silly. Kaupunkihattu. I don't think anybody actually says that ever. Alright, so larpaattori does get the desired Dorito, and he gets his farmer, and he will now be trying to connect to the 9-point farm of the Dutchman. So we will find out soon whether that elaborate sequence was worth it. Black, in the meantime, completes his 9-point monastery and also starts a new one over here. Larpaattori with another Dorito. Probably a good move would be going over here. Yes, very nice. Setting up a field connection. And also trying to play against this guy's city. Now we need to count tiles really carefully. Are there city caps remaining? If there are, it might be a good idea to go over here and start a new city, because that would give us 11 points if we finish that city. That would be just amazing. If there aren't, maybe some spatial move is in order. Maybe we go over here and try to prevent black from dropping another farmer here and reclaiming ownership of this field. Or if we realize that it's difficult to place something over here, which I don't think it is, I think it's actually a real threat, then maybe the way to go is just to claim this 6-point ruin, take the points, take a tile that connects us to the main field, and be done with that. Let's just count the number of curves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's still one curve remaining. So there's one tile potentially that can unify all of these fields. So maybe as larpaattori, it's actually better to do some sort of city move. I see that there's a... No, I don't see any remaining city caps, actually. Yeah, which makes me think that as this move, I probably would have preferred the 7 points over here. Because as nice and as creative as the sequence was, this city's worth only 6 points, whereas this would have been worth 7. So, let's see if that makes any difference. So päätöslaatta. So it's like ending tile or something like this. Okay, so larpaattori decides that there is a city cap. I didn't see one. No starting tiles, no city tiles with a crossroads, no horizontal splitters, no vanilla tiles, no daggers. Is there something else? Okay, he gets the curve, he connects to the field. Dorito to MeepleOverPeople. Is there actually still a city cap available? Yes, I think there is. Is the horizontal splitter, so he will be getting the 11 points. I believe that the Finnish player is about to win. He will have more farming points. He will have an extra monastery. He's asking about overtime. Well, he still had 1 second remaining. And I think the reason why he's asking, because he knows that if not for overtime, he will be winning this game. I think with 1 second remaining, we're good. Yeah, so I don't think the Dutchman's move makes all that much of a difference. He can just take 3 points anywhere. Maybe here. For the city. Or find some sort of small field for 3 points, like here. Sort of really a matter of taste. If we're really gonna go for style points, then of course the move is going to be over here, yeah, to get a 0-point farmer, because you know that is now going to turn into a 3-point farmer as larpaattori finishes his city. And, ladies and gentlemen, we will now, was quite the swindle from the Finnish player. We will see the score difference in just a second, but I believe that with a couple of points, larpaattori should prevail. And by a couple, I mean 1 point? Is that what it is? Yes, it is exactly 1 point, 116 to 115. I mean, what a comeback by larpaattori here. It has to be one of the best comebacks I've seen in a long time, because Black had plenty of chances to put the game away. These 2 monastery meeples blocked. Then larpaattori realized this and started setting up his only chance of coming back, this big city over here. The Dutchman had chances to neutralize that threat with a city cap, simply finishing a shared city, giving larpaattori 1 meeple back, but having almost perfect chances to win this game in the long run. Instead, he got greedy. Red managed to find one of his 2 Doritos to finish his desperation plan, finish his city over here, but that wasn't enough because the game was still even. And after Black completed this city, Black was still ahead. And then the sequence that really impressed me is how Red managed to look at the unseen tiles, realize that there are many Dorito tiles left, make this move, which I even was slightly skeptical at first, but it was so creative anyway, starting this city over here and setting up a 6-point city in his opponent's field, only for the sake of using this part as a field connection platform once he completed that city. Moreover, a lot of patience was required for him to wait for this curve to make sure that Black cannot connect over here and overrun this big field. And finally, of course, going for the coin flip, still taking advantage of the 1 final little city cap piece in his field, getting this 11-point sequence at the end, completing an 8-point city in his own field, and getting 3 extra points for that city. And as a result, this move was made with 1 second on his clock. No, this move was made with 1 second on his clock, and 1 point is the difference. You're not gonna see a game closer than this. Thank you, Wise Maze, for confirming that according to the time log, larpaattori did not go all the time. So yeah, congratulations to larpaattori and all the Finnish fans. Well, not big congratulations, because it's just equal, right? It's not winning yet. The score is 1-1, and we're starting a decider. But surely it's the Finnish player who must have the momentum, despite the fact that the Dutchman is already ahead in the new game. Okay, we have a super interesting position here already. 4 points for the Dutchman, 1 red Finnish meeple on a 3-point road, and on a 2-point monastery. In the meantime, Dutch invasion onto the little shielded city tile of red from both sides, and that's why I really love this monastery placement. In the short term, sacrificing 1 point, but then trying to really put a lot of pressure on these 2 squares, giving red a lot of time to either equalize or maybe even overrun the city with 2 city caps like this. Imagine city cap, red meeple, city cap, red meeple, cow, cow. That's still possible. The most likely outcome is probably getting one of these squares blocked, but larpaattori won't take any chances on blocking. He just wants to connect over here, and maybe even connect over here. We're going to see in a second. Black starts a new city away from the action, and now trying to put pressure on this square, but it's not going to work immediately. He gets the first cow tile. Will he get something more to connect here? We'll see in a second, as the Dutchman has the straight line in hand. Probably continuing the road is the only reasonable thing I can think of. I'm not sure if going over here for prophylaxis is a good enough idea. We might. Connecting to red's roads does not seem to be worth it just yet. Starting a new road is a possibility, but our meeple count might be just a tad too short for that. So yeah, so no perfect move in this position. Let's just wait and see what the play with the black meeple decides. So if we just place a move over here, it certainly would be the least risky opportunity. Okay, so he does continue his road and drop a farmer for some reason. With that farmer, I do disagree quite profoundly. It could end up burning him quite a bit. And larpaattori will now try to invade that city. So the purpose of putting something over here as black is just simply to prevent another reinvasion, or simply to prevent a splitter which red can draw. Now red still has 7 tiles that go over here, and excellent chances to reconnect. Black should be panicking here. Well, not that much. Yeah, so red's now just doing fantastic, managing to overrun the city, build up a 7-point monastery in the process, and forcing black to spend a crossroads here in panic. So black at least will gonna get something back, as he will now make it much harder for red to complete these monasteries. There's still 2 tiles available to fit that square, but still plenty of chances for black to maybe build something here and block that square completely. Still, the Finnish player with 2 monasteries, even if they get blocked, and 6 extra points on the scoreboard, and a reasonable road that can develop over here, is absolutely in the driver's seat. Did I say black? No, I meant red is in the driver's seat. He now drops another farmer, which I do profoundly disagree. It is a strategic mistake by red, because what red should realize, that's not how you win the game. A big farm is not how you win the game, because you have 2 monasteries in the scoreboard lead. You have a road which is likely to be completed, but not really soon enough. So dropping another farmer, it's not the strategical answer here. So what happened is that, yes, you now have this 12-point field, but it is extremely open, and black, of course, will use his temporary meeple majority to attack. So long term, this move has absolutely negative expected value. This is just, so you sort of trade off 4 points, one for you, one 4-pointer for you, 4-pointer for your opponent. But what red did, red made a field which will eventually belong to black, bigger by 6 points. Certainly cannot be the strategy here, as black continues his plan of blocking these monasteries, cementing his long-term meeple advantage, and then trying to go for his only chance, which is the big field. Well, I see in the chat we're debating what to call the city. A car or a dog's bone. I really like the dog's bone, or a bow tie maybe. Certainly plenty of similarities. You know, it's like the Carcassonne player's equivalent of a Rorschach test. What do you see over here? That will reveal the darkest truths about your psychology as a mind sports athlete. So finally, black continues with this plan, blocks the square. Larpaattori continues his road in a way that will also give him temporary, and I really mean temporary, majority on the field. Make no mistake, black will win this field if black knows anything about how to play Carcassonne, which black does. Red simply does not have the meeples to keep up. So red's best chances is just to abandon that field idea while he still can, and try to just get the points elsewhere. The Dutchman now probably will go over here. Well, he should start a new city, restrict red city over here. So, the player who, according to his screen name, values meeple over people, is so far living up to his screen name because he has a lot of those meeples. But a massive, massive tactical error, which I just cannot believe. He drops a new farmer in a spot which is kind of dubious, and he also accidentally protects larpaattori's city as a result. Larpaattori even happy to set up another city with a Dorito, trying to nom 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 on this little piece. Which, of course, would not have been possible had the Dutchman made the classical move in this situation. Just going over here, starting a new city. Then with this Dorito, he would have been able to go here, create the threat of blocking larpaattori's meeple. So what do you do here is black. I guess, in theory, you could have gone here and dropped a farmer. Oh my. Yeah, maybe he's just going a little bit hard on the farmers here. But sure, why not? He will need to do that eventually. But what this means now is he's just incredibly heavy relying on this curve. Because if this square gets blocked, not one, not two, but three of these farmers are denied access to the main field. Something that green cannot afford. And black also playing with fire. Instead of going over here and equalizing the city, black decides he, for some reason, urgently needs a meeple back to exacerbate which already is his meeple advantage. This is what I would describe as a completely unnecessary risk. So, you know, there's unnecessary risk, and then there's that kind of stuff. So, Nauheim is suggesting if black's field connection is blocked, then pretty much red wins the game instantly. Yeah, I think that is the case. I'm wondering if it's worth to spend the monastery here on doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, he does that. Simply for lack of a better move. Normally, you don't really get a high blocking probability. With 6 straight lines still remaining in the deck, it's actually really difficult to find a blocking tile, but he does it! I cannot believe it. He will block 3 farmers off black. He will go over here, and black should be panicking right now. This game is actually still not lost. Black has chances. Black is starting a new city here. And he can still do things. Thing one is black can go here or here and try to bring this farmer into the main field through this route. Then black can go over here and connect through red's road and still overrun the field. And this field will still be worth 15 points. This blocked farmer can be okay if this city meeple is blocked, which is a possibility. Now, less of a possibility as larpaattori draws a cow tile, but look at it. He's very patient. He's not using a cow tile over here. Instead, he first prevents black from finishing his other city. And now the Dutchman decides to also be patient, delay the field's connection, but also set up a blocking platform against the city, and it works. As red starts a new city up top, makes it slightly less likely that he would be blocked, but a curve in the hands of a Dutchman is always a dangerous thing. Well, I'm not sure about always, but it is in this case, as he is successful in blocking. So, okay, that's still doable. Still doable for MeepleOverPeople. Way harder. But the main problem for MeepleOverPeople is that he does not have his weapon anymore. His main weapon for coming back into this game was the long-term Meeple advantage, which kind of seems squandered, but, you know, still doable. Strategically, this square is extremely important. What black wants to do is find a way to profitably deposit a farmer here before red finds a curve over here to eliminate that opportunity. And of course, red is planning to get a curve before black gets to use this field platform. Black can probably still play a couple of moves. Okay, continuing the monastery makes sense. Completing the field connection and setting up another 9-point monastery move certainly makes sense. Red just dumps the tile. Black. What will Black do? Black finds a really nice move, trying to continue his city on the right, at the same time trying to set up a blocking attack against larpaattori city, who, mind you, has been meeple-less for a couple of turns. Larpaattori is trying to continue his city indirectly. In the meantime, MeepleOverPeople is continuing his city very, very directly, being one tile away from getting his meeple back and trying to be ahead on the scoreboard. Splitter tile for MeepleOverPeople, but just in time. The Thin prevents him from easily completing this city. Are there still tiles that fit here? Yes, there are. At least a starting tile, then there are these guys. So probably the best course of action for Black is to ignore the square for now. Or is it? It is kind of vulnerable, actually, as there is only one dagger remaining. So if Red places a curve over here, then Black will suddenly have only one tile to get his meeple back. So Black decides to basically kiss this meeple goodbye, but just get some more scoreboard points. Red, with the Dorito tile, will create a threat of his own? Or will Red go over here and eliminate Black's blocking chances first? It seems to me that his own city should be the priority here. We're really running short on Doritos. In fact, there's only one remaining. So probably in a scenario where Black finishes the city, Red finishes the city, Red is the one to benefit because Red could really use a meeple. On the other hand, what does Red need meeples for other than quick points? Well, he needs the meeples for something, Red decides, and he wants to renew the threat of completing his city. Oh, also, so very close. The Dutchman's being very precise in the blocking. The intuitive way is to turn the curve the other way, but with some quick tile counting, he realizes that there are way fewer city caps with the field than city caps with the road. And now that I'm thinking about this, are there even city caps with a field? There are no vanillas, there are no splitters of any kind, and... Okay, so there's one... No, there are no daggers. The only dagger that's remaining is the one that fits in this square, not in this square. So the only way to finish this city is to actually get a Dorito tile and then something. And larpaattori gets a Dorito tile. This is the last Dorito tile. He will place it over here. The Dutchman does get a way to continue his city, but actually that makes it harder for him to finish his city. He instead chooses to block this, but I think going over here would have been a nice idea to try and redraw some of the city finishing tiles. And now actually the move for the Dutchman here is to yank this curve right into the heart of this city, the counterintuitive move, because this would still preserve the chance of him drawing the one dagger tile that still fits there. A reminder, the widespread caps, the splitters, the vanilla city caps, the extenders, nothing's available anymore. So the only thing that fits into that square is in fact the dagger like this. Will the Dutchman recognize it? With this move, Red is also accepting that he himself will not be finishing the city up top. Which is why I probably would have preferred that move. And Red can still get a meeple back, Red can get a curve, and a crossroads, still 4 crossroads remaining, plus a couple of other road end tiles, both road monasteries in the game. One horse tile is in the game. But still, the threat of completing his city would have been nice. Okay, wait. Am I being corrected? No, there isn't a splitter remaining. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. No splitters remaining. Ah, okay, makes sense. If the splitter message was from some time ago. Alright, so the Dutchman now really in the tank. We're equal on the scoreboard. He is ahead on Meeples. It looks like Black is turning this game around after all. And either I don't understand something, or Black doesn't understand something. I don't see the real point of this move. It looks like it's preventing the city from getting completed, but this is actually not the case. Okay, I see the idea. It's still technically possible for Red to get the last cow tile and 2 city caps. But if you're afraid of that, then what you're going to do, you're going to get the curve and turn it the other way, because there are still city caps like this. There's the 1 dagger. There are 2 of these bad boys. But if you turn it the other way, then the city cap plus field combination is no longer possible. So a tactical mistake here by the Dutchman, now a strategically important move for larpaattori. He needs to make a decision. Do we go over here with a curve and make sure that there's nothing fit into this square and that we completely eliminate the threat of that city? Or do we use this curve over here and continue our road and try to set up a crossroads to get a meeple back as soon as possible? And most importantly, that we don't allow Black to drop a farmer here. Because Black has many threats in this position. Monastery tile, 18 points on the scoreboard, 2 meeples back. Very difficult to overcome that. Dagger tile, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 points on the scoreboard. 2 meeples back and 3 extra points for this farmer. So Red goes for the road move to eliminate the 3rd threat, which of course was Black dropping the farmer over here. Red will now continue his roads. Black will now maybe renew the threat about this road. I don't know. Red gets the road monastery tile, finishes his road, but also blows the field wide open. And at some point, of course, Black should be able to try and attack it. So now it's a big waiting game. Black with a quick point tile and 11 points behind on the scoreboard. Probably should take the points and just wait. Oh, thank you for correcting me this time, actually. Yeah, so there isn't, in fact, a monastery remaining to fit here, because I forgot about this guy. Red is taking quick points to further his scoreboard lead. This monastery is, in fact, blocked, so the only real threats of this position is this city. MeepleOverPeople just added a couple of points to his city. Larpaattori with a scoring tile again. What will he do? Will he take 2 points? Or will he maybe play over here to make sure that an 2 city cap plus city cap sequence that would give Black his meeple back does not occur, as unlikely as it is? MeepleOverPeople is expecting dissatisfaction in the chat with his play, but it might be still premature. His position is still decent. But maybe once he gets this monastery tile, it's actually not good for him. I think now there's still a chance for Black. The move is to go over here, take 2 points. Yeah, and he finds it. Nice, because the point is, it's not just 2 points. It is creating a very nice field connection opportunity here through a couple of straight lines, which larpaattori should either use himself right now or just eliminate it by turning the curve downwards. Because an equality on the field should be enough for larpaattori. And he's now trying to decide, is there a point in invading this field at all? No, there isn't, because there are no tiles to invade. Duh. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. This is the last curve. And he recognizes it. So he is not going to drop a farmer himself. He's just going to prevent Black from dropping a farmer. Black still has chances. Black needs to think for longer than this. He needs to create a field connection opportunity and then to find a way to drop a farmer. I don't see him dropping a farmer. Larpaattori with a dagger tile. I don't think it's possible for him to lose this. Actually, it is. If he creates a field connection platform for his opponent, and his opponent manages to use it, then he loses. And there's still a way to do that, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, the 2 remaining tiles, there's a starting tile still in the deck, and there is a, how do you call this? A barbed wire tile, yeah. So imagine, so of course, red now drops a farmer, which is very nice, but imagine if red were to like go crazy and go over here, leaving the city cap here. Black could go over here, drop a farmer, get to road tile, and connect to the field. So of course black now gets a road tile, red will get another road tile, and let's see if he finds his best move. The best move is to go over here. Ah, wait, there's no starting tile remaining. What am I talking about? Yeah, I just didn't see those two guys together. But anyway, my idea was still true because there's still a straight line remaining. So it was still technically possible for the Finn to mess this up, but he didn't. I think he's now counting, do we have to go over here and block the square? But the answer is no, we don't. There's nothing that fits here. No daggers, no cow tiles, no Doritos, no extenders, no splitters, no nothing that could finish that city. The point difference will actually end up being not that big. But what matters is that it will be enough. Yes, of course, losing on time is a possibility. Well, red just in case placed that straight line next to black city, because red didn't have any productive moves anyway. But what matters is that red was going to have a sufficient enough lead. We're going to see what the point difference is in just a second. The field ends up shared, and actually, just a 10-point difference, yeah. So with the right field attack, black could have probably done something about this game, but it wasn't meant to be. All right, so players are engaging in some post-game banter. Yeah, some MeepleOverPeople not happy with his play. We'll talk about that in a second. Larpaattori is referring to a monastery as a mistake. I don't think... Ah, meepling this monastery. Oh, wait. Did black meeple a monastery when... Yeah, maybe that was a bit too ambitious. Because obviously I didn't check. I assumed that if black was meepling the monastery, then there was a tile remaining. But at that time, I don't think there did. Because the reason why black put this monastery here in the first place is because this square was already blocked. And if this square was already blocked, this monastery was already used up. So maybe referring to this. But yeah, but I agree with black that, yeah, it wasn't the point of attacking. Of course, attacking the field was important, but it's just attacking the field in that particular way, kind of putting all his eggs in one basket going over here, and especially with this move that ended up helping red city. Of course, then black somehow managed to block that city, but that was actually quite an unlikely sequence. So yeah, and then after that, I think red managed to control the game really, really well. Just neutralize black city, finish his own road to have all this boatload of points and some meeples in hand. And black had just not enough meeples to manage a field invasion. Surely a field invasion would have been enough for black to win this game. You know, the field was worth 18 points. So yeah, a lot of interesting and quite instructive things here. So at the start, red managing to draw some monasteries, finding this really nice strategically significant, tactically significant spot rather, putting pressure on both two squares, then drawing the tiles to capitalize on them, getting these two cows, getting the scoreboard lead. Black, then finding their only chance to equalize, they managed to successfully block the square, which gave them their main hope, which is the long-term meeple advantage. And this is where red made their only, but quite a big strategic mistake of dropping this farmer and going to the field, because after that move, because of red's long-term meeple disadvantage, with this road still at the time underdeveloped and the two monastery meeples under severe set of block, the chances of red winning that field were really, really low, like under 10% for sure, especially with best play from both sides. And if anything, red got kind of lucky that the field ended up being tied. Well, red didn't win the field, so red didn't really gain anything in particular from this farmer. Now, black, on the other hand, had the right idea of dropping farmers, taking advantage of this kind of stuff, except that tactically it was an all-or-nothing way that ended up having this square blocked. There was another way of dropping farmers, maybe trying to drop them somewhere here, invade through the road of red, just kind of postponing the field battle for a bit, something long-term, and trying to drop farmers in more advantageous spots. But then after the square was blocked, the red was completely in the driver's seat and brought this game and this match to the completion beautifully. So a massive comeback in the second game, and a really strong performance in the first. That's what brings the Finnish player with screen name larpaattori to the next round. They still have the work cut out for them, but their chances in the tournament are very much alive. So finally we have a Finnish player winning on stream, which allows me to congratulate all the Finnish fans by saying torilla tavataan, or rather larpaattorilla tavataan. Sorry about that. But yeah, the players already discussing how to submit results. The post-game analysis has already well, okay. Oh, wait. They're discussing the second game, and MeepleOverPeople are saying, yes, me too. I thought I won that one. Yes, I also thought that, but no real blunders there. Well, I hate to break it to you, my friend, but some real blunders there. One in particular, if we remember that, of course, allowing that big city sequence is what catapulted larpaattori's comeback in the... in the first place. Hi, Yari. Alrighty. Anyway, but of course, without this risky move, we would not have seen all these exciting events on the right and on the left. Alrighty, let me just update the score in a second, which I should have done way earlier, with larpaattori winning the second and the third game. Sadly, we will need to say goodbye to the Dutch player with such a spectacular screen name, because this is already their second loss. So they're eliminated from the tournament, and after that, larpaattori will need to play another Nordic player whom we've already seen twice on stream. Very entertaining, really good field vision, quite a quick player as well. Managed to pull a completely impossible swindle against Bulgaria's Magic Girl the other day. Some of you might have seen that. So between these two, it should be an immensely exciting match that I will be looking forward to. And we have some other games coming up. Tomorrow, we have at least two. So tomorrow, I will be streaming these two games at 16 and 1700 UTC. The stream link should be already up there. On Sunday, it is two games. First of all, the one which I personally care about, because that is the lower semifinal of qualification for the qualification in which I play. So that's the one for the highest rated players in Board Game Arena. So between Miss Penguin and Caro Payun of Argentina. And after that, something that I haven't made the announcement yet, on the 15th at 2100 UTC, we're gonna see the finals of the Brazilian team championships. Sadly, I am not playing in that finals because our team got busted in the group stage. But who is playing in that finals is a team called Comuna Meeples, the captain of which is Bernardo Silveiro, and the team called Pangaea. So, of course, and plenty of expert players on both sides, and announcements to follow shortly. So one stream tomorrow, two streams the day after, plenty of Carcassonne to be played and watched. Hi Sergey, hi Martin. My condolences. You can rewatch the stream afterwards. Actually, there are really not that many roasts. You've already roasted yourself enough in the chat, so don't take the loss too seriously. All right, see. Let's see if there's anything we need to update. No, not really. Just stay in tune for streaming announcements. Make sure to meeple the like button if you like anything about this video. That's really important for the algorithm. And do subscribe if you want more competitive Carcassonne content like this in case you're here for the first time. Other than these two things, thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.